For most of this early and mid-season, my weakness has been flatland riding. Now, not so much. Hey cycling community, this is Steve, Grusis the Cycling Greek. We have now crossed over into the latter part of August. In April, I recognized that I had to make a change, and the change was riding with faster people. I've done a lot of solo training. I've done actually a lot of group rides in terms of the big Saturday rides. We were going for long distances, and it wasn't the same thing in terms of what I was trying to accomplish here. I needed to do that fast after work group ride, and we had one of those. They cycled between one course on one week and another course on another week. A lot of the guys that showed up were part of our local elite crowd, and that includes a Masters multinational champion. The problem was that I was not strong enough to ride with these guys, at least in April. Now, I could ride with them, I'd get dropped once, and then that would be it. And that would not be a workout that would work for me. Now, if each of the courses that we cycled through weekly were flat, then, I could do that, but they weren't flat, so that was out of the question for me. I needed to find a group that was weaker, where I could still get dropped, but get back on. And I found one. And that worked for about a month and a half, till that group started dying out. Fortunately, during that time, I'd gotten a little stronger, and then I was able to jump over to this group. In the beginning, I was able to stay just long enough with them to get that good workout before I got dropped. And now, I last longer, going a little harder, but I still get dropped. The rider with the orange helmet and the black kid in back of me has not raced much at all this year. For his form, he's doing the smart thing. He's riding wheels at the back. Now, I could have done that in April, and I would have if I didn't have any other options. Unfortunately, I did find that better option, an option that would advance me a little quicker. This week is leading up to my Masters District Criterium Championship. I'll be doing the 70s. The following day is a road race, and I'll be doing the 65s. Typically for me, entering a new 5-year age group like I have this year gives me the best chance to be able to win one of these district championships. However, there always seems to be one person that's just stronger than me. Now, in the road race championships that happened the other month, I came in second to a multi-world and multinational champion. In the Saturday's race, my main competitor is a past district champion who's much, much stronger than I am. What are you going to do, other than give it your best shot? Since we're doing the pace line, let's talk about the pace line. As soon as the rider in front of me pulls off in front of me after I've pulled off, I make sure that I'm right on his wheel because that is my sanctuary. The rider in front of me, who considerably is stronger than I am, does not necessarily follow that criteria, although he's doing a much better job in this round. We have a noticeable wind going from left to right. We are going a little faster the longer we're into this ride. At least that's the way it seems to me. Once we get to this little town called Friant, we'll have to take a left turn at a light, and I'm hoping I can make it to that point because typically we stop there for the light. Fortunately, this pace line is going smoothly. No one is surging, which means I don't have to surge. That makes it much easier for me to stay on people's wheels. So I pull off, I slow down just a little bit, wait for the next guy, and I make sure that I get right on his wheel. Again, he's my sanctuary. I'm going to speed things up a bit until we get to the next point of interest for this video. Now, these fast after work group rides, they've been once a week, and I've been pretty consistent with that. If I have an important race coming up that weekend, as I do this weekend, I still lose ride because it's on a Tuesday. That is more than enough time for a 70-year-old like me to recover. I even did a Zwift race the day before. If I remember, I'll link that video to the description below. Otherwise, just go to my channel and look for the video before this one. With this being toward the end of the season, let's talk about my plans after this weekend. For the following 3 weeks, there's racing to be had still, but the youngest category is going to be 50 plus. And these races are a minimum of 3 hours away, so what will likely happen, or rather what will happen if I decide to race these, is that I'd get dropped and drive 6 hours. I will not be racing these. There is, however, a race at the end of the season that's 4 hours away, and I'll be at that one because that has a 65 plus. I will also start the adaptive phase of leg weights. The adaptive phase starts off very, very light, particularly since I'll have one more race. And then after that race, then I start going heavy. All right, back to the action on the screen. We're coming up with some riders that we have to go around. And now we are approaching that town of Friant that I was mentioning. But before we get to that town of Friant, we have this somewhat long, low-grade riser. After passing those other riders, we're still in a stretched out position, but we'll soon go into pulling through again. And that pulling through is going to take some extra effort. So we've already lost that rider that was at the back. He's gotten a good workout. Even though he was back there, he's got a good workout. The main thing I'm thinking about right now is I don't want to disrupt this pace line. I want to, when I get to the front, not be able to pull through. Fortunately, I do okay with that. All I need to do is hang in there and hope for that red light at that left turn. Looking at the others in this video, I've made some improvements these last few months. We now have another rider that's dropped off. We just crested that climb, and if I had telemetry on here, you can see that my heart rate would be pretty high up, and now I'm not able to stay connected to these guys as they keep drilling it. Fortunately, after that left turn, the group slowed up for us, and a couple of us were able to reconnect. So now, we continue on. We quickly start our pace line again, and then when it's my turn, I want to make sure again that I don't slow these guys up, so then I go. It looks like I'm doing a dig right now, but I'm not. I just went out too hard. When I realize that, I pull off, slow up so I can get on someone's wheel, because this is now going to get even harder. What you're currently seeing is flat ground, but this part of the route is littered with undulations, and we're coming up on that now. So we're going up a small climb, and this climb is the start of our undulations. This is where our pace line format starts to get a bit challenged. We've just lost a rider, and I don't see any pace lining right now. I'm just focused on staying connected. Earlier, I spoke just a little bit on how I'm going to be transitioning to the off-season after this coming weekend. I'll be talking about my off-season training when my off-season training begins. How does one stay motivated after 70? Well, there's going to be some changes for next year, and I'll be announcing that soon. Right now, I'm just focusing on getting to the top of this climb, and if I do that, I can rest, or at least I thought I can rest. Our local national multi-champion is now just drilling it, and there's the gap. Fortunately, I'm able to get on Esteban's wheel, but that is only momentary. Once we get to the top of this climb, I gotta let him go because I just can't stay on his wheel. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. Remember, consistency is the key. Being able to analyze your situation and make a plan because of it is also very important. Alright, you know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.